Hail Internet, it's Paul, it's Matt, the Dork Lords. Today, we're talking about the new Disney Plus show, Daredevil, Born Again. Disney dropped the first 2 episodes simultaneously, Heaven's Half Hour and Optics. Heaven's Half Hour is a reference to the Book of Revelations. It's essentially the calm before the storm. We open episode 1 with Matt, Karen, and Foggy heading to a bar to help celebrate their friend Officer Cherry's retirement. However, Bullseye ambushes the party looking for revenge. And Paul, it's difficult for me to say this. This is emotional for me. But Bullseye kills Foggy Nelson.
Yeah, I believe. Thank you for stopping crying long enough to do this podcast.
No, I think I should say a few words. Allow me to say just a few words on this passing. In the entirety of the Netflix Marvel Universe, there was never a more annoying, whiny, show momentum killing character than Foggy Nelson. It's actually to the series' credit that somehow, despite Foggy's unwelcome, far too numerous scenes, I still really enjoyed the show, particularly seasons 1 and 3. I think Daredevil Born Again did the best possible thing for its plot, removing the show's obvious weakest link, the one-man scene killer, Foggy Nelson. Please, just don't have him show up as a ghost. Let's Uncle Ben this guy. But all that said, rest in peace, Foggy Nelson. Yeah, I hardly knew ye. We knew ye too much. Anyway, all right. Matt then throws Bullseye off a roof in anger, though Bullseye survives.
Inexplicably.
A bit inexplicably. He has a metal skeleton now, but still, it's his whole body went smush. But yes, he smushed but didn't smush. He is instead in jail for life, but that's not going to last. Matt then decides to hang up the Daredevil costume, but not before the newly retired Officer Cherry learns of his secret identity. We end with Matt trying to save a witness from corrupt cops. He saves the witness. The cops start beating him for information, and as they are about to execute him, he hulks out, for lack of a better term, embracing his inner Daredevil, killing the 2 cops. I mean, I guess it's not said, we don't see their funerals, but boy, if he didn't kill them, he put them in intensive care at the very least. But he also bled all over the floor. They were careful to show the drops of blood falling on the floor, so I would guess authorities and the new mayor, Kingpin, will likely know that he is the cop killer, if that's what he did. We're not sure yet. He didn't kill him. You don't think he killed him?
Nope.
Okay. Anyway, just to say, he probably put himself in a sticky situation, being a guy that's defending a vigilante, and the mayor knows he's a vigilante, and he just really roughed up 2 cops. Obviously, he had plenty of cause, but just to say, they're not going to see it that way.
Sure.
All that said, Paul.
Yes.
What'd you think of episodes 1 and 2?
So, obviously, if they hadn't killed Foggy, I would have said 7. But because they killed Foggy, 6.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, that is actually the exact opposite for me.
I shouldn't say because they killed Foggy. I just don't think it was very well written.
Okay, I can give you that. I just the act
dialogue
itself,
especially.
I
actually, for me, I was never that bothered by Foggy. So I just thought that.
I know, I get it. If you go back and watch our old recaps. Yeah. I mean, I was pretty hard on Foggy.
I mean, to me, apparently, if reports, I think, didn't we hear that they sort of added?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they were people were sort of wondering, and so, because they wanted just to have turn a new page or whatever. I don't think this new law firm is especially interesting at all.
At the moment, it's not. Now, it's only 2 episodes in. But they... Yeah, they've set this new law partner. He has Kirsten McDuffie. She is a former DA. And she's now the new law.
I don't know if maybe I need to see Nikki James in a better role, because I wasn't in love with her in Severance. And in this show, too, I'm not seeing anything especially great that she's bringing to it.
Okay.
Matt's new girlfriend,
Heather Glenn.
That meet cute or whatever it was supposed to be, it was so charming that they had to turn up the music so you can't even hear what they're saying to each other. It's like, apparently they get along well enough, so let's turn up the music so we don't have to hear them talking.
He was set up on a blind date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, they're placing a lot on, Fisk knows that Murdoch is Daredevil, and they're both sort of retired. So
they have this like uneasy detente at the moment,
we can
which
have
will not last.
Heat, De Niro, Pacino scenes.
That's the diner scene.
Talking together or whatever, that aren't anywhere near as well written.
I enjoyed that scene, I'll say, but I hear what you're saying. But both of those characters are trying to basically bury their violent natures for different reasons. Kingpin's trying to look legit so he can do this mayor thing, and then for Matt, there's this guilt at having. I assume a big part of it, what's driving him is, hey, my Bullseye killed Foggy to get to me. My actions as Daredevil led to Foggy being murdered, and so I feel like that's probably at least part of what's inspired his attempt to stay away from being Daredevil.
And for you, you'd be like, "It paid off from being Daredevil."
Actually, it seems like that Daredevil thing worked out real well.
The idea is fine. I just don't think the execution is that well. I like the idea of Fisk and his wife going into therapy, to try to save his marriage. He's not, so far has not really seemed like he would be a threat to her boyfriend. But
that guy though is dead man walking. Of course, I get it. He promised, so there are ways to have a guy die without necessarily doing it yourself. I'll just say that. That guy is dead. That guy will not survive. Adam is his name. Adam, you're going to get foggied. Goodbye.
Yeah. Certain the fights are fine. So that's good, I guess. I wasn't crazy about, they're trying to have him be more Spider-Man-ish in terms of,
sure.
As he was in the comics, actually, sort of using his
leaping from
leaping and
rooftops.
stuff. Yeah. It's like, okay, it doesn't look as great, I think, as it could, but, So, yeah, I wasn't crazy about it.
If I were to compare it, let's say, to the Netflix series, of which this is certainly attempting to be like essentially season 4 of those episode seasons.
Yeah.
I would, as I say, I really enjoyed season 1, and I haven't watched season 3 in a while, but I remember at the time thinking, wow, that's a real return to form. I thought season 2 was a bit of a dip. So probably this is somewhere in the season 2 quality range for me of Daredevil. But just to say, I did enjoy it. But yeah, the cringiest dialogue moment was, there's a plot line that's interesting, which is Matt is representing the White Tiger. He's representing Hector Ayala, who's been charged with murdering an undercover police officer unfairly. And so there's this bit where Matt is arguing before a judge to exclude evidence about Hector's secret identity, the White Tiger. And so the line is like, he wasn't in possession of his mystical amulet or in the White Tiger outfit at the time of the crime. And I was like, it just comes up, it sounds silly in that context.
Yeah,
when he's talking about the mystical amulet and then, the attorney's like, what's all this? Judge, how can you possibly? That mystical amulet's a real part of that guy. Anyway, so I was like, this sounded a little odd, come to the ear there. But anyway. So the Heather Glenn character is setting up to be incredibly pivotal because so she's now dating Matt.
Yes.
She was set up on this date through the new partner, McDuffie. So she knows McDuffie as well. She's worked with McDuffie before. She's a therapist. She's a therapist who is now doing the couples counseling, as you said, with Fisk and Vanessa. So she's connected to those two characters. And as we see in that book signing, I don't think it's any mistake that the young man who comes up, who's inspired by her and wants to get therapy, that is going to be the character Muse, who's going to be revealed as a mask-wearing villain, as we've seen in the trailers. So she's gonna be giving therapy to a serial killer, essentially, 2 serial killers, 3 serial killers. I don't know. And so she's the nexus point for all of our major characters. And so they all touch base at her. So I kind of feel like she's going to have a hard time surviving this season as well, frankly. There's a lot of violent folks that are all circling around her. So
interesting.
Good luck. Good luck, Heather.
The earliest you'll mat somebody. Wow.
I'm not sure that I'm matting. I'm matting Adam. Adam is gone. Okay. That guy is good luck. She's like I'm not gonna say for sure, but I feel like the odds are. If I were to put odds on it, I'd be like, I'll make a wager. So Heather in trouble, but she's also a major plot point for this show. We meet Bebe Urich. She's a young journalist.
Right.
She's Ben Urich's daughter.
Sure.
Fisk strangled Ben to death back in the other series, so that's it's like, oh, you're Ben Urich's daughter. If she knows that information, she's keeping a secret for now. I'm not sure that she's secretly harboring revenge. I don't know. I mean, she gets an interview with Fisk, and she's told she's got 5 minutes, and she spends 4.5 of those minutes just talking at him. Like, you're going to ask him some questions? And she finally asks about Vanessa, and it's like, we're not talking. Goodbye. Good job, journalism person. Yeah. But so she's kind of there more to just give the exposition of look, there are some cops that aren't happy about you being the mayor. And then, of course, one of those is the police commissioner, who Kingpin blackmails into staying, but not happily so. So that's a guy that you could probably, if you were Matt and you were trying to find someone who you could perhaps use to help take down the mayor, that guy would probably help you out in it. Karen has moved to San Francisco.
Yeah.
So she returns for Bullseye's sentencing, where he's sentenced to life in prison, but she and Matt have kind of an awkward conversation.
Yeah.
And then basically she's like, "Hip, I'm out of here."
Yeah.
Will she come back? I mean, the fact that they put her in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Tells me that if she's gonna come back at all, it would be maybe the last episode she'll hey, you know what? I'm back.
Don't think they have any imperative to bring her back.
And also because, as you mentioned, this is not the first part of this idea. The show was filmed and then they went back and added these characters. So it's very possible that's all we're gonna see of her. Look, I'm out. Goodbye, San Francisco. There was a lot of hype about the show, and maybe my expectations were not quite met. I'll put it that way. Okay. I enjoyed it, but I didn't go, whoa, best MCU thing ever. It didn't hit those kind of heights. I mean, I feel like both Loki seasons 1 and 2 were probably better than this. I think WandaVision was better than this. There are shows that are better, but there are a lot of shows that were worse. So it's good. I'm enjoying it, and it's only 2 episodes in. Let's see how this plot unfolds. I do like the more we get of Fisk versus Matt, I think is the better. So let's see this play out. I'm good with that.
Yeah, and I guess I guess I'll be curious to see him because we know also that Punisher's coming as well, and it looked. I'm pretty sure that was on that one of the cops that you.
Oh right, yeah, one of the vigilante cops. There's a suggestion that the cops have kind of taken up we're following the code of the Punisher, even though we're doing it for terrible reasons. Yeah. So maybe the Punisher gets involved in that way somehow. But but he's certainly coming back around as well. And it's not as much a theory crafting show as say Severance is. So we'll watch what happens and comment on what happens. So thank you as always, Paul. Appreciate it, good sir. And we'll talk to everybody next time.
Bye.
Bye.